hobbies, things that you do when you're bored, something that brings you joy in life, in this miserable freaking life that we all have to suffer through and pay taxes in. Some people's hobbies include watching anime, drawing, cooking, going outside for hikes, exercising. Those people are weird in my opinion. There's all sorts of hobbies. That's the point. And today, love bugs, I'm here to talk to you guys about a hobby that I've had ever since I was a child. That, love bugs, is art. Or animation, to be more specific. What's up, love bugs? Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. The name's Nikki Caker, and welcome to the Nikki Caker Cookie Jar. I've always had a fond fascination of animation. I grew up watching all sorts of cartoons and animations growing up on Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, PBS, shit. Because I had Time Warner Cable. My mom had that money. I had to pay lunch money. Because growing up I had HBO and On Demand, I was able to watch other animations. If anyone remembers Anime Network On Demand or no, that was really it. That was the only other anime station that I was able to get on cable network. Regardless, my love for animation and art grew as I was able to find more and more of these shows. And eventually, I started to want to make my own stories and my own shows. So I started to learn how to actually make characters and learn how to draw. But that kind of brings me to my next point. I've been doing it for a very long time, to the point where I even pursued it for work. I tried to make my hobby into a career, and I know that is what killed my love, my drive for wanting to create more art in that medium. So let's talk about it. How it happened, why it happened, and understanding that a person or me or just anybody, this is for anybody who has fallen out of love with art and they've been doing it for a while and they feel discouraged and unmotivated. If you feel that way, watch this. Hopefully, it'll make you have a different mindset when it comes to wanting to create and bring more into this world. Let's move on to why. One of my main points is the constant pressure to create is real, and it is detrimental to the mental landscape for an artist to want to create, and it can destroy motivation. Of course, there's so many reasons of why there's pressure for needing to create. One, social media. Social media has made so many things bad. So many things bad. Oh my God. I'll say this. It's a double-edged sword when it comes to blaming or, oh, that's the reason why social media killed my drive to create art. No, that's not what I'm fully saying. It can motivate you. Sometimes it motivates me. Downside of social media is you have to be constantly consistent with uploading. And if you falter once, or if you don't reach a certain amount of eyes, if your art is, I hate to say it sometimes, but mediocre, or the algorithm just doesn't like you, no one sees it. You can get lucky and have eyes on it, but then there comes the pressure of constantly making something just as good. And if you don't do it, it's disheartening. My next point when it comes to constantly feeling pressure to create is a weird one. Peers and family. Now, this one is kind of personal with me. And a lot of you may resonate with what I'm going to say. Growing up, I was the artsy kid in my school and just the people around me. Dude, you're a really good drawer. If I hear a mofo say you're a good drawer one more time, I will say, well, you're not a good talker. A lot of you probably resonate with being like known as the best artist with your surrounding group of people. That can really, distort a child's ego when it comes to their self-worth of something that they love to do. So when they grow up and pursue it for a career and figure out that not only are they not the so-called best around, they're not even mediocre. And also, I was given a very weird distortion on how the art industry works in total. That's another story for another time. But that being said, if you are surrounded by loved ones, people that you care about and look up to, and they tell you constantly in your ear that you are so good at this, that you can and will be working in this industry, and then it doesn't happen, right then and there, that is a reasonable enough excuse to stop doing it. I'll get more into why I don't believe you should do that later on. Next point. Y'all know everything's expensive, right?
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Living is expensive, food is expensive, and anything to do fun is expensive. Buying supplies. So whether you're a traditional artist or a digital artist or a musical artist or a fashion designer, any type of medium of art, it is too expensive to really get that stuff, and you have to sacrifice an actual survival need to do something you love. Economically, it has made it very hard for people to stay motivated to create art because it is expensive to be a person, to gain the materials to even create said art. And if you're good at making money while creating that art, sometimes you have to dumb down your art in a way that maybe the artist doesn't want to do, but has to because they feel trapped economically. That's crazy. That's what I read. That's a whole sentence, and the only 3 words I got from that was not feeling good enough. It's like 7 words. Dyslexia is real. With that being said, all of this could be amalgamating of feeling left behind or not being good enough to the point where it just destroys. If I say destroy motivation one more time, I don't know any other synonyms. Can you guys realize that by now? Let's move on. These are the whys, but now let's see it actually happening. Now, you may be a little confused on what I mean by how. Honestly, I'm gonna explain it. Hopefully you'll get a better understanding. First point in how, or what does it look like? You forcing yourself to draw, even when you don't want to, and you know whatever you put down will not turn out good. Sometimes when you consistently force yourself to do it, you start to think that, do I even know how to do this? Did I forget how to draw? Was everyone telling me all those things and it wasn't true? You start to really get in your head. You start to really doubt yourself and doubt your abilities. You start to doubt your abilities, it leads on to the next point, looking at more successful, more popular artists. Like I said earlier with social media, it could be a mood booster and it could motivate you and being like, oh, I like this technique, maybe I'll try that out. But when you consistently do it and you try to force yourself to draw, that sometimes will mix into a weird hodgepodge cloud in your brain. It starts to create jealousy sometimes, it creates animosity, and you don't want that to brew in you. Okay. This next point, it's kind of a how, but at the same time, this also can be a why as well. And that is being in an unhealthy environment, whether or not it's family that you're being surrounded and it's not a healthy environment, your partner is coming in and not making it a healthy environment, or the people, your friends that you surround yourself with don't make it a healthy environment. It really determines whether or not you feel safe enough to create, whether or not the people around you will judge you for what you create or judge you for even doing that said thing, or will make a big deal about you doing something that you enjoy doing or taking a lot of time in doing it. It makes you feel like you shouldn't be doing that thing that you enjoy doing. So if you have people like that in your life, cut them off. It's liberating. It's hard, it very much is, but if you want to keep loving art, do it. It's weird. That point should have been last because my next point is the last point. It really goes with the first two. I am editing this how it was chronologically recorded. But that being said, the last point is it's being a perfectionist and then not learning from the mistakes that you made and not taking constructive criticism. Whether it be from others or even yourself. Don't get discouraged and be like, oh, well, I just don't know how to draw that. No, you just got to keep doing it. And you cannot be too hard on yourself. And I think that actually wraps up what I'm trying to really say. No matter what people say about your artwork, no matter really, at the end of the day, no matter what people think about your art or what people don't see within your art, however little people see your art or how many people see your art, however much money you get from your art or however little money you get from your art, no one else can pick up this pen and tablet and draw this. Sure, it gets discouraging after a while, but making things that come from your brain and your mind and making it into reality, it is what makes artists, wizards, magicians, witches. I prefer the term witches. And at that point, no one can really take away my knowledge and skill, no matter how much I think that, and no matter how hard I am on myself. Some days, when I do pick up this pen and tablet, I prove myself wrong and make spectacular piece. That's really it, love bugs. Thanks for watching. I really hope that this brings a different perspective for when you feel unmotivated or if you feel like there's no real point in creating. Honestly, it's for you at the end of the day. And if people decide to say, hey, can you do this for me too? I'll pay you. That's a plus. Art and creating it is for yourself. See you, love bugs. Hope you have a good day. Bye. Also, I'm just realizing if I were to continue with the industry that I wanted to get into, I would have ended up like this. I don't want this for my career path.